Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sammy and I make mommy, lifestyle, and Leo content. As you may know, if you've been by my channel before, I am the wife of a state trooper and he's coming up on his 2-year anniversary of being a state trooper, so I've learned a few things throughout this time and I just wanted to share some thoughts today about adopting a no worry policy. So especially in today's society, it can be really easy to feel like our police officers are under attack, and we have lost several officers this year, and so it can be really overwhelming, and it can be really hard not to live your life by fear and by stress and by worry. And so I just wanted to talk about that today because I think it's something that wives and spouses and partners and families deal with across the board. So for me, I've always been a little bit more of a fearful person just by nature. I have been that way since I was a young child, and so it's easy, like now that I'm a mom, it's easy to fall into that idea that, you know, how can I protect my child from everything out there, and I know that I can't, and so it can be easy to worry about that and like where he's going to go in life and how life is going to treat him. And so that's how I've been by nature, kind of just that's the way that I am a little bit more. I tend to be more fearful than some people, but there's been a few things that have really helped me not fear Russell's job quite as much. One of the biggest things is I believe and trust in his training. He was actually in the academy for 6 months, and he was gone for 6 months doing that training, and I really believe in the skills and in everything that they taught him in the academy. The other thing that's helped me is that just seeing him interact with people and knowing how he deals with things helps me not to be so fearful, because I know that his goal every day is to come home at the end of every day, and so that will affect the decisions that he makes on the job. And so that's helped me not worry so much. My husband is a very confident person, and he trusts in his skills and he trusts in the training that he's had, and his confidence has helped me feel more confident. A little story time though. Early on in my pregnancy, I wasn't very far along. We hadn't even told our families yet, and in the beginning of my pregnancy, I was so exhausted all the time. I just slept for hours, and if you know me, I've had issues with chronic insomnia for most of my life, and so I've never slept well. But in the beginning of my pregnancy, I slept like a baby. It was like it was like life-changing and revolutionary. But I fell asleep on the couch at around, I think it was around 9:30, and Russell was supposed to be home at 10. And I woke up at around 3 a.m. still on the couch, and he still wasn't home. And I had no phone calls, I had no text messages, nothing. And I think it was my hormones, because it's the only time I've ever done this, but I mean, I went into full-blown panic mode. And I tried calling him, I tried texting him, and I wasn't getting an answer. And the longer that time went by, the more scared I got. And so I texted one of the other wives whose husband was also on shift. She said, I haven't heard anything, everything's good that I know of. And I was just feeling so anxious and so uneasy, and I just sat on the bed and I was like, maybe I should call dispatch. And I was like, no, that's silly, you're being silly, he's probably fine, you're worrying for nothing. And then about 3:30 rolled around, and I still hadn't heard anything, and I still hadn't gotten a call or a text message. And so I finally contacted one of the dispatchers, and she was so sweet and so understanding, and she's like, no, he's okay, he just caught up on a case. And I was like, okay, and I could just like breathe. But that panic inside of me, I've never felt anything like it. And it was at that point one of the wives told me, she said, no news is good news. And nobody had ever told me that before. She said if something had happened or something went wrong, somebody would have contacted you by now. She said they would be there as soon as it had happened. You know, that you would be the first person to be notified to know that something went wrong. And that has helped me so much as a police wife. No news is good news. So if I haven't heard from him and he's late for dinner, or he's late getting home, or he hasn't sent me a text or called me and let me know he's going to be late. He's really, really good about that. I know some husbands aren't, and maybe it's just because we're still fairly new to the job, but he's usually pretty good about calling me and saying, hey, I'm going to be late, don't worry, I'll be home whenever I can, you know. But he's usually really good about that. But that statement, no news is good news, has helped me so much not to worry and to realize that everything is okay, like everything's all right. But like I said, it can be super hard not to worry in today's society, and we've lost a lot of officers this year, and something I don't think people understand is that with the Blue Line family, just because you haven't lost that officer, maybe you didn't know them personally, this whole family feels it so deeply. And I think that's because we're so connected and we know the risks and we know that this could be us one day. And so it can be difficult when you feel that fear and you kind of want to let it just take over. And it does want to take over, just because the rational part of your brain is like, this is a dangerous job. Should he be doing this? You know, he's putting himself at risk, and, you know, we're at risk for losing him. And everyone says, well, you know, you could lose your spouse or your family member in a car accident on the road. Anything could happen. Yes, that's true. Anything could happen to anyone that's not an officer, that's not in the military, that's not in a first responder type of job. But not only do they have the regular risk of being in a car accident or, you know, a freak accident, they have the additional risk of this life. And so it's easy to adopt that mindset and to let it control you, but we just don't let it happen here. We do our best. We say goodbye every day. We give hugs and kisses and snuggles, and we never leave with him on in an argument. He's never left this house on a bad note. We always are, you know, I love you and have a good day, be safe, come home safe, and that's just our policy. And then we enjoy and cherish the moments that we have together, because they're so much more precious with that mindset. So if you're struggling with that worry mindset and feeling overwhelmed with stress or anxiousness, I encourage you to talk to your spouse or partner about that. That will be really helpful to you. The other thing I encourage you to do is to stay off social media as far as watching police-involved accidents or shootings. Just don't watch it. It's not going to help your fear mindset. Connect to people who are supportive and who get it. And I have several videos about being a Leo on my channel, and I'll have them linked up in the card above if you would like to check them out. But just realize that their job is for the better. It's for the greater good, and they take great pride in their job, and they do such a good job with it. And it's our job as spouses and partners to kind of hold the fort and to not allow fear to completely reign over our lives. And so I just encourage you, plug into some good sources, make some friends who get it, and try to just breathe. Just breathe and trust in their training, and trust that they are doing the best that they can to make it home safely every day. So if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. Please comment below. And if you like this kind of content, click that subscribe button. It's completely free. It just notifies you when I upload. And again, I would love to hear from you. Say hello in the comments. Tell me where you're coming from. How long have you been a Leo? And yeah, I'll just see you in the next video. Bye.